Okay. Okay, Tov. We're starting. Today's daf is Chaf Hey, Amud Aleph. We're starting from Chaf Daled Amud Bet, like 10 lines from the bottom. Lama mafisin. You have it?
Yes.
You have it?
Yes.
Lama mafisin. Why do we do this raffle? The Gemara is asking a question. Why are we doing this raffle?
Is it repeating for you also?
Huh?
It repeats for you also?
It's a rhetorical question.
No,
Lama
no,
says it.
you're going to see now. Lama mafisin. Why do we have a raffle? The Gemara says, Lama mafisin? Kedamran. We already explained. we explained the way we needed to do the raffles. Nachon?
Why asking again?
Yeah, Rashi explained, Shayu baim l'dei machloket. Used to go in, they had a machlokot between them. The Gemara says, no. Ela lama mafisin v'chozrim mafisin. Rashi explains, lama nesafim lefez arba pa'amim. They had 4 raffles, right? Bayom kidetnan, whatever. He brings over there the raya. But 4 times they did the raffles. What's the point of having it 4 times, right? Amar Rabbi Yochanan kedei largish kol hazara. You wanted to get everybody excited. You know, there's a raffle. Who's gonna win? You see the kids here when we have the. You know, now we have two raffles for the young kids and the older kids.
Why not for the adults?
Honestly, I wish. I told rabbis, it's not fair. I've been here for like 10 years. I've never gotten into one of these raffles.
Yeah.
Longer than these kids.
Because the adult prizes are going to be more expensive.
Say-
Get away.
New car.
No, take the prizes. Give me a new iPhone.
Mortgage for new house.
No, I'll take the new iPhones and iPads.
Ay.
Nachon? So it brings a lot of excitement. So that's what the Gemara explains.
As the Minterutz, the Bet HaMikdash, has excitement.
What?
The Kohanim were pushing each other off the ramps. They were excited enough. Achi, why do you need to get them more excited?
Okay.
No, but that's
Nachon,
what made
yeah.
them so excited.
No, but
To break each other's limbs.
yeah, it just makes it.
No,
It
but
brings
that
excitement.
became already. That's why they stopped it, because it became that. But
Became
in the beginning,
dangerous.
it
Why
was
do you need
so
4?
innocent.
To get them more excited than they are?
No, now it's not whoever runs there first. So you need something else to be exciting.
You need a
So what do you do? You
motivation.
do the raffles.
And these 4 raffles are just for Tumat Tedeshin or for other avodah?
It was for other things, I think.
Okay, so only one of them was for Tumat Tedeshin. The rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it's 200 edition, it's such a boring job. You have to go clean up like.
It's a big mitzvah though.
Yeah.
Big mitzvah.
100%, but I'm saying, but it's not like motivation like we're not doing a korban. You know what I mean? It's going
Not
to
necessarily. For the Kohanim, it was still a big thing.
Clean. Yeah.
Okay. Weiter.
Like,
שנאמר, as the pasuk says, אשר ירדב נמתיק סוד בבית אלוקים, נלך ברגש. We're going to walk with excitement, שמחה, נכון? במה מפיסין? What did they do the, what's it called? The raffle with? Rashi explains, מה היו לובשים אותן הנאספים לפייס? What did they used to wear? The ones that are going to be in the raffles, right? בגדי חול או בגדי קודש? They wear בגדי חול או בגדי קודש? רב נחמן אמר בבגדי חול. Remember, we're going to continue throughout the whole page. We're going to be talking about this. רב נחמן is בגדי חול. Okay? רב ששת אמר בגדי קודש.
When are we
Okay.
asking right now? For what occasion? Every day?
They would come to the raffle.
They would come to the raffle and
Yeah.
we're having a machloked if they were wearing Bigdei Chol or Bigdei Kodesh for the raffle.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Okay? Now, רב נחמן אמר בבגדי חול, right? דאי אמר בבגדי קודש, if you want to say that they were wearing בגדי קודש, right? רב נחמן is trying to prove to us that they were wearing בגדי חול. דאי אמר בגדי קודש, איכא בעלי זרועות חמסי ועבדי. What's going to happen? If you're going to let them come and wear בגדי קודש, you're going to have all these big, strong Kohanim push out the other guys and go and do the avodah, because they're already wearing bigdei kodesh, so they could already walk in and go do the avodah. Nachon? So it must be that they were wearing bigdei chol to prevent this situation from
to
happening.
the raffle itself.
Yeah. ורב ששת אמר בבגדי קודש. רב ששת said, no, they were wearing בגדי קודש. די אמר בבגדי חול, if you want to say that they were wearing בגדי חול, אגב חביביתו מיקרו ועבדי. Because they love the mitzvah so much, they're going to walk in and run in with their bigdei chol. So it must mean they were wearing the bigdei kodesh. That's Rav Sheshet's opinion. Right? So Rav Nachman explained to us the reason why they would wear bigdei chol, right? Because if you were going to let them wear bigdei kodesh, you're going to have the strong guys push the other guys away, and they're not going to care about the raffle. They're just going to go and do the avodah. They're already wearing big day kodesh. Yalla, tfadal, right? And Rav Sheshet said, no, we tell them that they wear big day kodesh. Why? Because if you end up letting them wear big day chol, they're going to end up running into the mitzvah with the big day chol. Right? So you would let them wear big day
You make
kodesh.
these sounds as guys like animals, like they have no brain.
This is Kohanim.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
Kohanim are what's it called?
But like if it's
Zin hen lam- right?
ho-
They're very
holy,
quick.
like shouldn't you have some self-control? Yeah, obviously it's like
They-
it's
they-
a very
They
It
do make them
shows
sound.
you how much love they have for Hashem.
Yeah, but it makes them sound kind of like
obsessive,
animals, bro.
like almost
No, it's not
obsessive.
animals.
Breaking limbs, running, not listening to anyone. Achim, mazeh.
This is their mitzvot. This is how much they love each other. Look, where do we see
beat you up, I
where do
love
we
it so
see
much.
where do we see the midot of the Kohanim? By Pinchas. Pinchas had mamish. He had such jealousy for Hashem. He wouldn't stab them like this. And then what he was zochet to get keuna. This continues with these people, with the Kohanim. They have this. I need to do this. I need to do this mitzvah for Hashem. That's their specialty. So it's not negative. It's a fuch. So we have to create.
hard for us
We
to
have to create a
understand.
balance for them
Not
to.
Kohanim.
to
It's
do
their
it
love.
their way.
It's their love for the mitzvah that sometimes they can hurt each other.
Bidyu. Okay, Amar Rav Nachman Mena Amina. Rav Nachman says, how do I know that what's it called? They would wear bigdei chol, right? After the whole thing, what would they do? Mesuran lechazanin. They would you pass them over the kohanim to the chazanin, which is the shamash basically. Vayu mafshitin otan et bigdahem. They would take off their clothing, right? Velo yu manichin alehen ela mechnasayim bilvad. The only thing that they would have left on top of them was the pants, right? My love beotan shezachul apais aren't we for sure talking about the ones that were zocheh? Right? Meaning they would take off all their bigdei chol, right? And the only thing they will leave on them is the mechnasayim, their pants, right? So this, we see from here that the guys who won the raffle, how did they start? They started with bigdei chol, right? You understand? So that's Rav Nachman's proof. That's his proof. That's his proof to his opinion, because the only thing that they left on top of them was the mechnasayim,
and
the
they wouldn't
pants.
make them change in the first place if they were wearing.
Right. So
Yeah.
you see from here, this is talking about they were wearing big chol. This is a raya for Rav Nachman. Amar Rav Huna bar Yehuda, Amar Rav Sheshet. לא, באותן שלא זכו לפיס, those that didn't win the raffle. Right? Meaning, so the opposite. So they already came in and they were wearing their bigdei kodesh, and the only thing that they left on top of them was the pants. Right? To go ahead and put on the bigdei chol.
But why would they switch from Big Day Kodesh to Big Day Chol if they just won the raffle?
No, so he said right. So he says no. It's the ones who didn't win the raffle. Yeah, the ones who didn't win the raffle. So they came in with Big Day Kodesh, and then they had to switch to Big Day Chol. Very good. He says, the Gemara says also as well, "Achanami mistabra disal kedai techbeota shezachul lafais." If you want to say that it's the ones that won the raffle, right? Lo yu manichin alehen ela michnasayim bilvad. The only thing that they would leave on them is only the pants. נכון? That's what we said. V'atanya minayin shelo yeh davar kodem lemichnasayim. From where do we know that the first thing that they should wear, right? The first thing that they should wear was the michnasayim. Remember we said this like 2 days ago? Or 3 days ago? First thing that they should wear is the michnasayim. Talmud lomar, u'michnasei bad yu al besaro. Michnasei bad yu al besaro. So mashma, this is talking about the ones who didn't win. Right? Because the first thing that he had, the only thing that he had on was his pants. Which is the holy pants. נכון?
Big Day Kodesh
The
pants?
Bigdei Kodesh pants. That was the first, right? We said the
Okay,
diuk.
okay, I understand. So he was wearing Big Day Kodesh and he had to switch to Big Day Chol. So that's
Right.
So he only had his. So he took off everything except his pants. Okay.
Look, Rashi explains, Viktani, לא היו מניחין עליהן אלא מכנסי חול. Meaning, if you want to say that we're talking about they had bigdei kodesh, bigdei chol, and then they would have to wear bigdei kodesh, we see state that then what would we say? The only thing that they would have on top of them was the michnasei chol. So if you say that the last thing that they had on top of them was the michnasei chol, what would happen? Mavishim otan bigdei kodesh al michnasei chol. They would put the bigdei kodesh on top of the michnasei chol, and that is the problem, because we said the first thing that you have to wear is the pants, not the. You can't put the other stuff on top of you first.
It has to be al besarot, it says the pasuk.
Biduk, it has to be al besarot. So mashma, that was the one thing that you would put on top of them. So from here we learn, we're talking about the case that of the ones that didn't win the raffle. Why? Because they would be left with only the pants. They would take off from.
They try to trick the system.
Meaning it would be the other way around,
they
basically.
put on,
First thing they would put on is the pants, and the last thing they would take off is the pants.
But I'm saying, they try to trick the system and having both on. They have the bigdei chol and the kodesh on at the same time.
No, we're saying that's why it doesn't work.
Well, what does it
It
work?
doesn't, meaning to try to say that they would come in with bigdei chol, right? And
Opposite,
then,
no?
okay. Rav Shirtz is explaining his opinion why bigdei chol would not work. If you want to say that they started wearing bigdei chol, right, and then they came in to put on the bigdei kodesh, how would that work? The last thing that they would leave on is the pants, right? And then they would start putting the bigdei chol on top of that. You can't do that, because the first thing you need to put on is the michnasei kodesh.
Lechatchila, you're wearing bigdei kodesh.
Right. So he's saying that. Right. So that's what he's saying. So we're talking about the ones who didn't win. We're talking about the ones who didn't win. The last thing that they were left on was the pants, right? Because you always restart, right? Like how you put the shoes on, right? You put the right
The
and the
pants
left.
of the bigdei chol.
Huh?
The pants of the bigdei chol.
No, the pants are bigdei kodesh.
How though? So you're saying they wore bigdei kodesh to the Beit Mikdash, okay?
Yes, they already wore it.
And
So
then
what-
they didn't win the raffle, so they had to go change.
Yes.
Okay. Done.
They
That's
had to go change, right? So the last thing that they had on top of them was the
was the
Michnasei-
holy pants.
good. Okay, ve'idach, and then how would Rav Nachman answer this question, right? That we see from here. There's no way, right? There's no way to do it. There's no way that you could have the michnasei chol and then on top of it put the bigdei kodesh. The first thing that you have to have on top of you is the pants. So how would Rav Nachman explain? Huh?
He's got an answer.
Yeah. Lo kasha. He says, no, shaila. Achiktani. At shodan alehen bigdei chol. They still have their bigdei chol on top of them, right? Meaning they have the top layer of the clothing. They have the top layer of the clothing that they had to wear, like a turban thing. Malvishin otan michdesei kodesh. So while they have their as they're taking it off, right? Their what's it called? Their clothing. Then they would put the bigdei kodesh, the michnasei kodesh. So it wasn't that they came in, right? Meaning they came in with their bigdei chol, and then slowly they were taking it off. And then the first thing that they would put on is the pants. They didn't put on the pants of the bigdei.
For the raffle. So.
Right. They didn't put the top layer before putting the pants on first. They would take off everything, then they would put the pants, and then they would there. Right? V'yu mashitim otan bigdei chol. Then they would take off the bigdei chol. V'lo yu manichin ele michnasayim bilvad. And the only thing that they would have on top of them is the michnasayim. Right?
Well, if they lost the
bigdei
raffle,
kodesh.
or they put on bigdei kodesh.
Nachon. So Rav Nachman was talking about the one that is the ones who won the raffle. Afuch.
Gotcha.
That's why the first thing that they would have on is the pants. Okay, Amar Rav Sheshet Mena Minara. Rav Sheshet says, from where do I know that they would come in with the holy pants, right? The Tanya we see from Mishtei Brisa, Lishkat Gazit. It was Shesham Hayu Mafisin. That was the location that they would do the raffle. Kemin besilki gdola aita apais. It was like in Rashi explains, bait gavoa she'al aliyah. It was like a big tall house that was on top of a
Mountain.
aliyah. I guess, not a mountain, like a hill or a higher level. I guess maybe like a whatever. Okay. במזרחה, it was on the מזרח, מזרחה, how do you say מזרחה?
Like
East, sorry. וזקן יושב במערבה, and the old guy would be, the old guy from the Sanhedrin, he would sit on the west side, והכהנים היו, והכהנים מוקפים ועומדים כמין בכל יער. And they were, the כהנים, they would stand in a big, huge circle. כל יער means like a circle, like a מעגל, right? והממונה בא, the one who's appointed to do the raffle, ונוטל מצנפת מראשו של אחד מהן, he would take the hat from on top of one of the kohanim, right? ויודעים שממנו פיס מתחיל. And then they would know that the pies starts from him, right? The one who would have a hat, he would take off the hat and said, okay, we're going to start the pies from him, meaning they would go like this, right? So then they would know that it would start from him. So where's the right? If you want to say that they came in bigdei chol, matznefet bebigdei chol miika. Do you have a matznefet bebigdei chol? How could it be? Matznefet is only one of the clothing of the holy clothing, right? Not the bigdei chol. So the Gemara says no. In yes, they would come in with the hat as well. What is this hat? Kedetani Rav Yehuda says, V'itema Rav Shmuel. Some say that it's or you want to say Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda, Kohen shasta lo imo ketonet. No, the mothers of the Kohanim, she would make for him the hat, right? Oved ba avodat yachid. He would do one specific avodah with it. So he would come in with this special hat. So you see from here, what's it called? That they would come in with the bigdei kodesh according to Rav Sheshet. But we don't have a raya against either or. Right? They both have a good point. Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshet. Right? Rav Nachman said that for sure they would come in with their bigdei chol and then switch to the bigdei kodesh. And he explained to us how it would work, right? They would take off all the clothing and then they would put on the pants and then the rest of the clothing. Right? Rav Sheshet says that no, they would come in with a hat, and that was his raya, right? And then we brought a raya against it, but there's no raya to go against him because he has his point as well. Now, so we see from here that there's no raya either like Rav Nachman or Rav Sheshet. Okay. Now, weiter. Amar Abaye. Abaye says we see from this statement that Rav Sheshet was saying, Shma mina lishkat hagazit chatzia b'kodesh v'chatzia b'chol. The Gemara is going to explain, so don't worry. We see that this location where they would do the pies was half chol and half kodesh, right? Half kodesh, half chol. V'shma mina shnei petachim hayu la. And we also understand from here that there was two entrances into that location. Echad patuch b'kodesh, one was coming in from the kodesh side. V'echad patuch b'chol, one coming from the chol side. If you want to say, right, that the whole Lishkat HaGazit, right, that whole location was Kadosh, Zaken Yoshev Ma'arava, you want to say that the Zaken, the older man would sit in Ma'arava, if it's Kodesh, as the Zaken from the Sanhedrin, we cannot stand there, only Kohanim, right? V'amar mar en yeshiva ba'azara el le'marcha bet David levad. The only ones that are that can sit on the west is only Malachei Bet David. So mashma we see from here that for sure was chol as well, right? Now visar kedai tachkula bechol. If you want to say that the whole thing was chol, pais b'mizracha, you want to say that the raffle was on the east side. Veha ba'inan bebet elokim ne'elech baregesh v'leika. You have to go and do the what's it called? The agrala with simcha and regesh bebet elokim mashma b'makom kadosh. And then if you want to say that the whole thing was chol, you don't have that din, right? El hashma mina chatzia b'kodesh v'chatzia b'chol. You see from here that half was kodesh and half was chol. V'isal kedatech petach echad yeshla. If you want to say that it only had one petach, right? We said that it has two petachim. two entrances. ופתוח לקודש, and it's open only to the Kodesh. זקן יושב במערבה, כן, the זקן sit in the מערבה in the west? No, we said no. ואתנן, והלשכות, sorry, where was that?
הלשכות הפנימיות.
Right, ואתנן, הלשכות הפנימיות בחול, ופתוחות לקודש, תוכן קודש. When they're open, right, to the, whatever, the lishkot, how do you say lishkot? The chambers that they're open, right? They're open to the, they're built in the chol, and they're open to the kodesh. They're still considered as if the whole thing is kodesh, right? If you want to say that you only had one entrance, and it was open, and it was only if you want to say that the only entrance that you had was an entrance of chol, and would you be able to do the raffle on the east side? Vatnan benuyot bekodesh v'ptuchot lachol tochan chol. When you have the chambers that they're open to the they're built in the kodesh and they're open to the chol. The inside is considered chol. Ela lav shma mina shne ptachim ayu. Rather, you see from here that you had two entrances, one from the kodesh and one from the chol. אחד בקודש ואחד פתוח בקודש ואחד פתוח לחול.